Run for Your Life, usually seen at this time, will not be presented tonight, so that we may bring you the following special program.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners. If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. How we doing, everybody? Welcome back. It's Word Balloon, a scene missing edition, the comic book and movie conversation show, among other things. John Suntress here. I'm joined by my I wouldn't call him my co-pilot. I was the co-pilot. I was the Lunar Command Module pilot to his commander, Mike North. Everybody from The Score and from ESPN 1000, and a good friend. Good to see you, Mike.
Good to see you, John. And I love the open. I loved us as gangsters. I felt a little film noirish, if you will, with that. So it's absolutely outstanding. You know, we love movies. We love to do the things that we do. We had a lot of interest besides, you know, the sports talk that we did over the years. We talked about, I'd say mostly half of our conversation, if not more, were about movies and about actors and comedians and stuff that you have here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man.
Here, yeah, baby.
I've cast us as Pat O'Brien and Jimmy Cagney. Look, there we are, the Sports Talk Radio Wars.
Yeah, well, James Cagney, one of the great actors. Pat O'Brien, I'm not a big fan of, although he did nail a couple of movies like Newt Rockney, All-American. They couldn't have picked a better guy. Some roles were generic roles where he played the detective in charge of finding so-and-so. He was best friends with James Cagney and through some of the wildest parties in Hollywood history, from what I understand. He liked the party. They had an Irish brigade of actors back then, led by Cagney and him. So it's fascinating to see how you'll like certain actors in some things, and then the same actors you'll say, I don't feel like watching this. But that's the way it was back then, because even Cagney made some stinkers that he didn't want to make.
Oh God, especially in that 30s period.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why he left Warner Brothers, because he was under contract. He had to do what they told him. And that shot of us in the Navy reminded me of one of those movies where O'Brien is a Navy guy and Cagney's some guy on the street like heckling him. It's pre-war.
Well, yeah, but, and they also had an Army one like that. So it was the Fighting 69th. I mean, they did the same type of movie in 2 or 3 genres, if you will, during the war years and during the more dangerous years, if you will. Although, most people would argue today it's more dangerous than it was back then. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting that you didn't hear O'Brien. Just knew, I think, himself. I don't think I'm going to be the greatest actor on earth, but I can make a solid buck, keep my nose clean, make friends. A lot of it is like networking that they call now, getting to know each other. You see it now with Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, David Spade. They all they're all together when they were poor, and now they stick together, which I admire, and they help each other out when they make movies.
Yeah, they're gangs. Even Clooney and
Oh yeah,
his guys like Pitt and Damon
absolutely.
and guys like that.
Sinatra, Bogart, Bacall, the original Rat Pack. It just it's the same type of situation where they were buddies. The original Rat Pack was I think it was Bogart first, if I'm
Right.
not mistaken, and then Sinatra
Right.
and the boys jumped in, sort of didn't steal it, but sort of inherited it when Bogey died in '57, and then they
Yeah.
became even bigger. They took what was like a group of guys, a group of drinkers, a group of people, and said, let's try to transcend this thing into something bigger. And hell, I just watched Ocean's 11 the other day. I never get tired of it. I never
I'm
get.
the same way.
Yeah, I like Ocean's 11 1. I can watch Ocean's 11 1 with Clooney in them. No doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. But I love the old Vegas. I went there in the 70s, and I remember how it was in the 80s when the boys ran it and stuff like that. So, it's a lot different now. I haven't been out there for a few years, but I remember you could sit down for a prime rib meal for $2.25 with potatoes au gratin and a salad, for God's sake. And they said, bring back your $5,000 to lose after you have a free meal on us. Take care now. So they knew how to do it.
You look at this poster I made for you.
Oh, it's awesome. Look at that.
Come on. And you see Sid Crunchnick is playing live at the lounge?
Absolutely. Sid Crunchnick was, of course, taken from a crusty old reporter. John did a character, which I'm sure he'd be happy to say. How you doing, Sid?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy to be back on the live thing. It's been years since we all worked together. Yeah, my little variation on.
Yeah, and that I always tried to incorporate when we worked together.
Oh, yeah.
Your bits, I really did, and even when you worked with the Monsters, there were some bits that did well, and some bits that maybe they didn't fall short. They just were almost today. I don't think they'd be allowed on the airwaves.
Oh my God, yes, Mike. Our friend Radio Girl Margaret Larkin. She's
I love
like,
Margaret.
hey, tell me about some of the bits. And I'm like, under the advice of my lawyers, I don't think I can, because I would have been canceled the minute some of that stuff went to the air. Mike, I screwed up. We are live. I will, but I'll
put it on Twitter. Put it on Twitter. Let's go to work.
I know, but I hear a couple people saying hello, my goons. But
what's up? I love the goons. Is that the nickname? Your goons?
No, my League of Word Balloon listeners is
there. They go. And you're doing well with it, John. You've been sticking with it.
All right.
That's what you do, man.
You mentioned Ocean's 11. I was watching, and I found it on YouTube. Sergeants 3, their Gunga Din as a Western, but directed by John Sturges, Mike.
Yeah. The best.
That's crazy.
Sammy Davis Jr. I remember like it was yesterday. My dad took us to see it. Sergeants 3, Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis. It was a Rat Pack on horseback. I mean, basically, that's what it was. They were cavalry guys. I loved it. I loved Robin in the Seven Hoods. I loved anything with those guys. They were effortless. Well, Sinatra, he would just do one take, which would piss off all the directors. I don't know how Sturges got along with them, but Sinatra, the director, would go, we got to do another take. And Sinatra would go, that's fine the way it is. And they'd just walk on to the next scene. So, but Dean Martin and these guys, they'll go down in history. They'll be remembered 100 years from now for the stuff that they did. Because movies don't go away now. I'm watching 1930 movies now on TCM, and they look fresh as daisies. The way that they restore them now and make a good presentation of them. And I love a lot of old movies like Christmas in Connecticut coming up with Barbara Stanwyck, Dennis Morgan, the B movies, Bing Crosby, if you will. Him and Jack Carson were best buddies. They grew up together in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They ended up doing movies together. How cool is that? So, all the Christmas movies are coming out now.
Yeah, they were like the poor man's road, the poor man Hope and Crosby, because Carson was the wise ass,
right,
and Dennis was the singer.
Yeah, that's how they tried to. In fact, they consciously tried to do that, make them the B movie road two guys, if you will.
Yeah.
And they did a pretty good job. My wife and I love Jack Carson.
Jack Carson's amazing.
Jack Carson's one of the best character actors. He was really, I mean, even in Mildred Pierce, he's got the smaller role and he just comes out and delivers every single time. He plays all sorts of different characters. He died tragically young of pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, so he died early in his 40s. He dated Doris Day for a year or two, which was nice. I mean,
she was
she had a body that won't quit. People don't talk about it, but you could see it. I mean, she was a knockout. She loved her craft. That's the difference between her and Judy Garland, because if you read Doris Day, anything about her, she says, we worked 14 to 16 hours and, you know, we just went home, got our rest. And you read Judy Garland, they worked me to death. I had to lose weight and I wanted to take drugs. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
the difference, but both talents, but I'm more of a Doris Day person. She loved the profession. She never took acting lessons. And yet, you know, I can watch for a brief time her musicals because Gordon McRae is one of the more underrated singers who's ever lived. Ever lived.
Yeah.
A Nebraska guy who would go home after making the movie to Nebraska, would settle down in Nebraska after he left, never lived completely in Hollywood. But her, I watched on Moonlight Bay the other night for about a half an hour just to set alone inside a studio where they have a town. Fascinates me. The movie making in the 30s, 40s, and 50s for no special effects will never be better ever.
Well, I want to stick on Doris Day for a second because I always loved how, you know, all of her movies, she's, you know, Peaches and Cream Innocent and stuff. And it's like girl singer on the road with the band during the war years. She got around, man.
Oh, come on. I mean, you know, and those poor girls, you know, some girl would come out and sing, you know, one of the girl singers would come out and sing, and there'd be 38 guys in the band. You know what I mean? Exactly. You know, so, you know, but I'm sure it was good for her ego. You know, I'm sure. And I'm sure she knew how to do it. She seemed pretty wise beyond her years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like she wasn't like taken advantage of. She knew what was going on. And God bless her. She was amazing. No,
I mean, Peggy Lee. And a lot of these, Peggy Lee, I never saw her move except her lips. She was the Clutch Cargo of female singers, for Christ's sake. She would just stand on Ed Sullivan. You give me fever. You know what I mean? Sure. But these are people that traveled with the bands. And I mean, you were with maniacs like Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey and Glenn Miller and Artie Shaw. The drummers were always a little nuts. You know, you had Artie Shaw, you had Gene Krupa, you had Buddy Rich. I mean, these guys actually got in fist fights. Even, you know, they talk about the rappers now. There were vendettas back in the 40s with big band guys. I mean, one guy, reportedly a big singer, was going to never get a job in, you know, was going to get snuffed out, you know, the band leader, if he didn't give the contract over, called Frank Sinatra, which the Godfather was based on, no doubt about that.
No, I hear you, man. The Peggy Lee, I like her in a Jack Webb movie, Pete Kelly's Blues, about the Prohibition years.
Oh yeah, I like Pete Kelly's Blues. Pete Kelly's Blues is Dragnet in just another genre. It's Jack Webb knew my way in is to do something different, and I'll narrate even some of the movies I'm in. So very smart guy, Dragnet. I mean, there was something about Dragnet. There was hardly ever any action. It was two just regular detectives driving around, but the characters were so solid. Ben Alexander and of course Jack Webb. These two guys, even before Harry Morgan, they just knew how to do it. I thought Dragnet originally, before Harry Morgan came on, was better. Yes, no doubt about that. I thought they had better chemistry and everything, but Harry Morgan did a good job also.
Oh yeah, and I mean I love the 60s Dragnet as well, but it's fun watching the 40s one. I agree with you. Or the 50s one, excuse me, the 50s.
Absolutely. One. I mean, they were both good, but he just had that. The way to succeed is if you can find a formula and do it as good, if not better than somebody else, and that's what he did. He was a good narrator, did his own films. He was a hustler, no doubt about it. I don't think he was the best looking guy. He was maybe a throwback type of guy. And but yet he succeeded, and that's what it's about. Trying to find a niche and trying to make something of yourself and trying to succeed. And Jack Webb is well known today, and they made a movie, Dragnet. So that's how big that series was with Aykroyd
Actually,
and Tom Hanks.
they made 2 movies. Well, the
Yes.
second one was a TV movie,
Right.
the Harry Morgan one, before the series came back.
Yeah, I don't
So-
remember that one, but I do remember the show with Aykroyd and Hanks. They tried to pull
Oh,
it off.
sure. The 80s
They
one.
tried
Yeah.
to pull it off. I'm sure it didn't work out for me.
No.
I mean, you get
No,
I
and
mean,
they have Tom Hanks and Aykroyd doing a Letter Perfect Jack Webb, and even Harry Morgan back and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, and Dabney Coleman was one of the bad guys. But
one
yeah,
of the
it just didn't
greats.
work.
One of the greats.
Yeah.
Dabney
Oh, yes.
Coleman. Well, I love Dabney Coleman. I love Buffalo Bill, the short-lived series with him and Gina Davis. I thought, and in fact, when I ran into him at PJ Clark's in New York, we were at I think you and I were together. We were at a fight, I think, at Madison Square Garden. But I went, as usual, I went for a run, and I ran into him, and we started talking. I said, "Man, I loved you at Buffalo Bill." And, you know, we stuck around for like 5-10 minutes. He was waiting for somebody, but he was happy that I remembered Buffalo Bill because they did everything they could to get rid of Buffalo Bill, and they did eventually. It was a great show.
My favorite celebrity encounter we had was in Vegas, and we were staying at the old Vegas Hilton. And I
Yeah,
came down in the afternoon, and you're sitting at one of the non-playing blackjack tables,
right.
and John Santucci, character actor,
I
in
remember.
a lot of Michael Mann films and TV, was on Crime Story and on Miami Vice and Thief, and yeah, and you're like, hey, you know this guy? And I'm like, yeah, of course, John Santucci. And it
Mhm.
was weird, although I get it, Mike, because I think a lot of these celebrities, they get mistaken, or people remember the wrong movies and they just roll with it. And you thought he was in The Firm with the big heavy set character actor. I can't remember his name, but he's in the Analyze This movies, and he kind of looks like Santucci.
Oh, I remember he was in Jelly. They called him Jelly. Yeah.
Right. He was De
What was
Niro's
his
number
name?
2.
A tremendous actor. Died about a few years back. Analyze This. He was just tremendous. That was a great movie put together. I'll tell you, one of my favorite celebrity encounters, and I had a million of them, but was Kevin Pollak, who's a working actor. You'll see him in an independent picture, or you'll see him in A Few Good Men.
Right.
And he was walking down the hallway at Caesars, and I was walking towards him, and he had a fedora on, like a straw hat on with a suit jacket. And I walked by him, and I went, "Kevin Pollak, hey, how you doing, man?" And then we just kept on walking, you know, just a natural guy. And then I got to interview him later on, and he was. I love guys like that. A tremendous actor in Grumpy Old Men, in A Few Good Men. Anything he acts in, he's very, very good in. Very good in. No doubt.
He made a movie where he is the president, and they're off in like the Southwest during a snowstorm, and all of a sudden the Soviets attack. It's like called Resistance or something, and he's sitting with the nuclear football. Do we attack or not?
Yeah.
And it's really great. And like you said, it was a little movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it even made theatrical release and everything, but you could find it on streamers and stuff.
He
and,
played Mr.
he's
Green.
just solid.
In Casino. He played the president, the fake president of the Tangiers, you know, and he was great in that. I mean, anything he gets, he just goes to work on.
All right, I got some old time.
I love when you have
character
old
actors.
time things.
All right, old time character actors, because we're going through good character actors.
Absolutely.
Right now. All right, Eugene Pallette, yay or nay?
I love Eugene Pallette as, and you know what's great about me and Shaky? You'll get with other people, you can name these guys off, and they got to look them up on Wikipedia. Yeah, all over their head completely. I mean, and Eugene Pallette as Friar Tuck in Robin Hood was one of the great roles. In fact, one of the great casting achievements is Robin Hood, with Errol Flynn, Alan Hale Sr., Eugene Pallette, Basil Rathbone, Olivia de Havilland. You can't. My God, who was the great Claude Rains? Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, he's the.
There were like 2 or 3 great character actors in one movie in Robin Hood.
Oh, he's Prince John.
Eugene Pallette, I give him a B+. He played in some gangster movies also, played a heavy and stuff like that.
He's good in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington as one of the
Fabulous.
political fixers.
Fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. Eugene Pallette is great. I mean, one of my favorites is Edmund O'Brien. I mean, he's a just solid character actor. In fact, played some lead roles, but I liked him better as a character actor. Just the White Heat. He's in White Heat with James Cagney as the FBI undercover agent in the prison there.
Liberty Valance.
Liberty Valance, he's unbelievable as the publisher in Liberty Valance. I mean,
the newspaper.
He's
and 7 Days in May. 7 Days in May, Mike.
7 Days in May is the as basically the guy that represents the government trying to find out what's going on behind the scenes at the nuclear site or whatever they were doing.
Yeah,
so
he's a military base.
Just a tremendous, one of my favorite people. My wife and I got BB into watching these old movies, so now it's great to hear her say, "Yeah, I love this guy" and stuff like that. When she never even kicked, she grew up in our sister house. They didn't watch certain movies. In fact, she never saw John Wayne. She told me a story because we watched John Wayne. I go, anybody that says he was a bad actor, don't believe him. You don't finish in the top 10 for 25 years if you're a bad actor. If you're a bad actor, you might get lucky for a year or two. When you're leading the box office for 25 years, okay, 25, you could be briefly great like Burt Reynolds was for 5 years, as good as anybody, if not the best. But to stay up there for 25 years, top 10, don't ever let anybody tell you that. It's the people in New York that are Marlon Brando, Lee Strasberg, and I respect all of them. Okay, anybody that can knock out Hyman Roth like Lee Strasberg did, I'm all for. But John Wayne was a hell of an actor, and he did some wonderful things too. And with character actors, I noticed the same group followed him for every movie. Woody Strode, Harry Carey,
Carey Jr.
Harry Carey Jr. A lot of different guys. Some you won't even recognize their names, but you'll recognize their faces. But John Wayne was solid.
No, I'm with you, man. And also, when I do Scene Missing, and especially when we do westerns, my buddy Gabe Hardman and I, we do stuff, and I put together a montage. And you're right, because there are so many guys they tried to make cowboy stars.
Oh, please.
And they made dozens of movies, but didn't have the stickiness like Buster Crabbe and Lash LaRue and, these guys that made a ton of these movies and stuff. And it's like,
My hero.
And, failed after The Big Trail. That was a bomb, his first leading role. And the guy toiled in B and C movies for another 8 or 9 years before Stagecoach. So he paid his dues.
Now The Big Trail, which was one of the most epic put together movies of all time. It was back in the 30s, it cost them $3-4 million. They had hundreds of extras, thousands of horses, cattle. There was no trick photography. They had to go down hills with covered wagons, go through the water. I appreciate the fact that people have taken another look at The Big Trail and now appreciate John Wayne for what he did in that movie. I watch a lot of his movies, and we were watching The War Wagon, and but she had never seen, and we watched it the other night, The Sons of Katie Elder, okay, with one of my favorites, Earl Holliman of all time.
Yes, and Dean Martin.
Oh yeah, and then you had, of course, Dean Martin, and then you had John Wayne, and she goes, "God, this is good." I go, "It's John Wayne." Your family went to the movies to see John Wayne, and they knew how to put it together. They found the greatest locations, beautiful locations, the best scripts. There was always humor in it. There was never overly sexual stuff, but with Angie Dickinson or with Maureen O'Hara, he got the message across, Even in Brannigan, he tried it, you know what I mean? Flirting with the girl in the car. A little shaky on that one, but John Wayne didn't start to linger. She never saw John Wayne until she saw True Grit. I mean, not True Grit, Rooster Cogburn.
The second one.
Yeah. She goes, "I never saw John Wayne before." I go, "Are you out of your mind?" She goes, "Well, I grew up with our sisters. We watched Little Women. We watched this and that." I go, "Okay." She says the first movie I ever saw him in was with Katharine Hepburn because she loves Katharine Hepburn. They were both great in it. For
Yeah.
older folks, grueling shoot, they were unbelievable, man. And she said, man, I knew then that he was good. And she said she didn't know he had won the Academy Award. I said he was better in Rooster Cogburn, I think, than he was in True Grit.
Well, it's kind of a
He was
Western.
sadder and uglier.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of an African Queen as a Western.
Absolutely. They ripped it off. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
all right.
I did not know this. I saw Paul Anka's documentary the other night. Very good friend, very good man. We went backstage with him. He asked me the same things that Rickles asked me when we went. Was I good? Was I all right? Are you kidding me? You know, so, you watch these guys and you see what they do. And Paul Anka was in The Longest Day, What John Wayne knew what to do was get Ricky Nelson here, get Anne Margaret there, get all young singers, Bobby Vinton here. What he did was he brought the kids in. He wasn't crazy. He goes, all right, I'm 45 years old. I'm 50 years old. Let's get Ricky Nelson with Dean Martin. And they make a video together, basically in the movie when they sing together. I mean, so he was just a smart guy. And he kept his nose clean for the most part.
Isn't Frankie in the Alamo? Frankie Avalon?
Absolutely. Every damn 50s idol. Fabian. Every top.
Went to Alaska, right.
With an Ernie Kovacs. Don't go there. Or was it Stuart Granger? Was it Stuart Granger?
Yeah, Stuart Granger. Hello. Yes, we're going to buy land together and prospect in. Yeah, sure, you're a cowboy. Sure, you are. Absolutely, you are. Although, as I was telling you,
I can't watch his movie, King Solomon's Mine. I want to blow him. Give me a break. I
like that movie because he's Alan Quartermain, and he's like a pulp here. He's like Indiana Jones before Indiana Jones. He's
like Indiana Jones before Indiana Jones was born. It's hilarious.
Yeah, absolutely.
How good are we right now? We're covering it all.
Oh no, no, I want. That's why we get the framer. That's why we get the film frame around us, man.
That's right.
I wanted us to talk old movies.
I'm a little bit off on the left side here. I'm on with here, so this is the one I got to pay attention to. The one in.
All right, there you go. No worries. You're all right.
Good. I don't want to screw things up here.
All right, another character actor that I think vastly underrated, but you got to pay attention. The great James Gleason.
Let me tell you something about James Gleason. He played a boxing promoter type of guy, a talker for the big shots. Hey, you don't want to. Was a manager, wise guy type. Was almost like a Ted. Who was the guy that discovered a Ted Healy type? James Gleason, Ted Healy. Skinny, bald. But he was. I don't have him in my top 5. I have like
Claude. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I have Claude Rains. I had Edmund O'Brien, guys like that in my top 5. But yeah, he was a top 10 for sure.
I'm pretty sure he's in Suddenly with Sinatra and Sterling Hayden.
What a movie that is! In fact, I think he plays the father, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So
yeah.
I mean, look, tremendous. Hey, I'm not knocking him, believe me, because you had 30 character actors in Hollywood back then that could act with anybody. Now you got maybe 5. There's no identification. There's no guys that want to be B or C movie guys anymore. I think John Cassell is one of the great character actors who ever lived, being in 5 movies, and they were all acclaimed. Whether it be The Conversation, whether it be Godfather 1, Godfather 2, Dog Day Afternoon, or Deer Hunter. Are you kidding me? I'm going to pick 5 movies, which is interesting because sometimes actors get unlucky. And that guy, he had a good casting agent. I mean, I try to think who could have played Fredo better than him. Nobody. I try to think who could have played the psycho sidekick to Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. Nobody. Deer Hunter. The weaselly, pushed around buddy of Robert De Niro and the other guys
in the group.
Nobody. Yeah. I mean, and then he was on top of that banging Meryl Streep They were dating for like they were going to get married. So
Yeah, isn't that tragic? Yeah, it's
yeah,
tragic,
it's
man.
tragic. That he died is tragic, but he had so much more to give as far as an actor. But if you're going to leave 5 movies, but sometimes you look at actors for turning down pieces, and then they ridicule them. And I just saw a beautiful cut of Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson was asked to play Michael Corleone at the beginning. Now, you got to remember, Robert Evans didn't want Pacino. Robert Evans' main man, till the day he died, is Jack Nicholson.
That's
Robert
true.
Evans made nothing but money. So now Jack Nicholson is just sitting in on this interview. Folks, this is stuff you can't get anywhere else. Okay. I mean, I sit on the couch and listen. All I'm going to tell you is Jack Nicholson said, well, they offered me the role of Michael Corleone. And I said, I got a better movie, I think. And they were as good as those. I had 2 movies pending. One was The Last Detail, which is a great movie if you've never seen it, folks. Jack Nicholson, one of his most underrated movies is The Last Detail. And the other one was Chinatown. So I don't think I made bad choices. They said, well, why did you turn it down? And this is what he said straight out. You got to have an Italian guy play that role. I didn't think I was going to be able to pull off which he tried to do in Prizzi's Honor, if you watch it.
I like him in Prizzi's Honor, though.
I like it, but I know it's Jack Nicholson, one of the great actors of our time, but I know he's faking that accent.
Every adjective. I'm sorry. Please continue, and I'll say my
thing
thing about
Sting. He was offered the Sting as Robert Redford's role, and he said, yes. Well, you got to remember, Jack Nicholson was as big as Redford, if not.
No, I realize that. You needed a. Well, go ahead.
That's
tell
why
me
they ended up. Well, what he said was, I thought Chinatown would be a better vehicle. I knew The Sting and The Godfather would be great movies, but I thought mine were too, and he was right. And Robert Redford ended up doing The Sting, and everybody was happy.
Oh, God,
but it's interesting. They don't always turn. See, Burt Reynolds was stupid. He turned down great movies when he didn't have other great movies waiting for him, where Jack Nicholson turned down 2 movies. Who could turn down? Well, yeah, I turned down Godfather, but I had Chinatown. I watched it the other night. It holds up. It's the best film noir of all time, period.
It's well, I would call it a neo-noir, but it is a great 70s movie.
But yeah, you know what? The Polanski and them would love to call. They loved the film noir edge of it.
Right. It was a tribute to the old noirs. Absolutely. All right, now hold on. You're going a mile a minute.
I love it. Go ahead.
No, for Prizzi's Honor, I just love Nicholson the whole time. Anytime he wants to say, to kill somebody, he's got an edge to. You want me to Zotz, Irene? Zotz. That's how I kill. And there's Kathleen Turner, of course. Yeah. But also and I love the Sting. Sting's amazing.
I love that. Me and BB went on our first date and we saw it. It's our favorite movie, and it holds up to this day. And Paul Newman and Redford were better together than they were in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Different genre. I thought Redford was still green. I still think, even though he started in 62, 63, I thought Newman basically in that movie was, you knew he was the main guy, had the better lines. But in the Sting, they were equal.
Oh, yeah.
They were equal as far as acting ability. And I love Paul Newman. He's still, when people tell me Marlon Brando is the greatest actor of all time, I go, I'll name you 10 better. Leave me alone. Please cut it out. Even Jane Fonda, who I can't stand for obvious reasons, said, they asked her about Marlon Brando. Do you think Marlon Brando was a good actor? And she goes, good Marlon or bad? That's all you need to hear.
Right. No, that's true.
You clapped that in some movies, you didn't give a shit, and then all of a sudden, boom. I love Paul Newman.
It was great discovering Brando and David Niven did the original Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Shirley Jones as bedtime story.
Oh, Shirley
Jones, weird movie for Brando. He does fine in it, but no, you're right. There is good Brando and there's bad Brando,
and Christopher Reeves has nothing good to say. If you ever, he's gone.
Oh
now.
God, yes, I've seen that. It's on Letterman. It's on Letterman.
He said, "What a piece of you know what." So
Yeah,
I was never a Brando guy. He was pushed by the New York media, and that's fine. I love Brando. He's from Libertyville, Illinois, for God's sake. Lived on a farm there. So I still like him in The Wild Ones. I like him in
Sure.
Godfather. I
Sure.
like him in a couple of other movies. But my God, the body of work. I liked him in The Freshman, but he had to play.
I was gonna say, yeah, man.
But I put him up against guys like Paul Newman. I mean, really, he could have played in the 50s, Marlon Brando, if you Cat on a Hot Tin Roof instead of Paul Newman.
Well, sure he could have. Sure he could have.
And for some reason, Newman, after James Dean died, Newman was really the second guy. He was going to be the second guy in Hollywood. In fact, Somebody Up There Likes Me, okay, the movie about the great boxer Rocky Graziano, that was originally a James Dean vehicle. And then he gets killed. Okay, right after they've done almost finished Giant, which they had to get then Nick Adams to play him from a distance. And I love watching it, how they figured it in.
Yeah.
But Dean was supposed to play that role, and it was a good role. Paul Newman, I got to give him credit, knocked it down. I thought he knocked it down. He was in shape, ready to go, period. And that
absolutely. I'm with you. I'm with you. The no, and much like we were saying about Cazale, obviously Dean only had the 4 movies, but they were all great movies, or interesting movies at the very least.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, here I've always looked at it this way. I watch his movies, East of Eden and Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. I go, I like Giant, but
I like Giant a lot.
But my argument is, if Richard Gere, who I think at a young age was as accomplished as James Dean, believe me, and as good looking, and
he was channeling Dean,
Officer and a Gentleman, Breathless,
sure.
and American Gigolo, and if he gets in a car accident, Richard Gere is considered, like, wow, oh my God, this guy just died. He did these 3 or 4 movies.
I know you like this guy, Mike, and I was saying he was the 21st century James Dean, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
Who, Jackie Robinson
absolutely.
And Black Panther.
Yeah, I like
James
him.
Brown, his Get Up, his James Brown movie.
I think it's important for certain actors to get away after you do a couple bios. Do other types of work. He did the Black Panther. He took it to the next level. But he does the 2 bios, Jackie Robinson, James Brown. You knocked it down. Don't do any more bios for a while. But he's gone. I mean, but you know what I'm saying.
But there could have been 2 more different people to do biography movies about.
I agree. That's called range, and that's why
that's what I'm saying, man. And
Chaz Palminteri told me, I go, Chaz, how did you and Nick Nolte? I love Mulholland Drive, or when
Mulholland Falls, or
Mulholland Falls with Nolte, Palminteri, my good friend Michael Madsen. I love
Buddy Bill Peterson.
Yeah.
Buddy Bill Peterson.
Oh, and Melanie Griffith, as good as they come, right? And I asked him, I go, when they have the argument, him and Nolte, in the after Nolte gets mad because he's got to tell Chaz that he messed around with the dead girl, which was Jennifer Connelly. And what's wrong, Max? Come on, talk to me. The acting between them. And I go, how did you guys pull that off? He goes, we're professionals. That's what he said. We're professionals. And when you see that, I mean, they take their craft serious. I'd love to see Chaz do more stuff. He hasn't done stuff but another guy, Bullets Over Broadway. I
love that movie. That's a great Woody movie, yeah.
Oh, one of the great Woody Allen movies of all time, I mean, just a lot of if it wasn't for movies, man, I mean, everybody thinks, I love sports, believe me, but movies too. I mean, and what's great about the old movies, because of TCM, these people live forever, man. You don't think they've been dirt napping for 50 years. I look up some of these people. I look up some of these people, and some of them just died in 2015, and they were making movies in the 60s and 70s. So it's amazing. It really is.
I'm worried about the fate of Turner Classic Movies, Mike, with Warner Brothers for sale because I mean, hell, the guy that's been in charge of Warner Brothers tried to shut it down,
Yes.
and it took Spielberg and a couple other actors and filmmakers to go, "Are you nuts?
Yes.
Don't you realize what you have?" And also on DVDs, they have Warner Home Archive where they dig up obscure TV shows and film. That's going to go away, Mike, because, and in fact, they've already made cuts to that because if Netflix buys it, they don't want DVDs. That they're it's against their, ironically, because they were a DVD rental company before they were a streamer. But yeah, I mean, the old movies will survive, and somebody else will pick up the mantle. And of course, all the free streamers show a lot of great classic movies. But I just love the way Turner curates movies.
There you go.
And makes the documentaries. And I mean, God, they do their version of Comic-Con every spring where you go to LA and it's a bunch of screenings.
Or you go on a cruise with them. You go on a cruise with them, and you're walking to the buffet, and there's Stephanie Powers.
Exactly, or Robert Wagner.
Yeah, and so I agree with you wholeheartedly. TCM's got the formula down. And if they change it, if they ever go to commercials, if they ever get rid of look, do I like every one of their on-air people? No. Do I
do.
Do I think they do a good job? Yes. So you can say, hey, but they still do a credible job. Okay. I love Ben Mankiewicz. Okay. The guy that does film noir is as good as anybody.
Eddie Muller. He's been on the show. He's a great guy. He's a
Eddie
wonderful
Muller.
guy.
These people, all of them, they do a great job. They got good behind the scenes people. And they've taken these. I mean, Eva Marie Saint's still alive. You know what I mean?
In the 90s.
I think she's close to 100 now. And
yeah.
So I just think it's the best. And if they ever go to commercials like A&E did with theirs, then they'll ruin it. It'll be ruined and I'll never go back. I don't even want to sit through football games with commercials. That's why I have the remote and I switch around. Commercials are the worst. I'm watching the other night on Sony. Okay. I'm watching on Sony, Mr. Roberts. And all of a sudden, Henry Fonda and Cagney are going to get into an argument. And then they go to a commercial, for Christ's sake. Yeah. So that's lower on the DirecTV movie list, folks. 555, 560, because I got all the movie channels. But that's what I don't like. And it breaks up a movie, period.
I understand, but also, Mike, that's the downfall of streaming. They all went for the short money, hoping for subscriptions, and now it's killed the theater audience. I was telling you, I think I told you, there's a new movie called Blue Moon, and it's Ethan Hawke as Lorenzo Hart, Richard Rodgers' first composer partner.
Sure.
And it's the movie is fantastic. And it's set the night that Oklahoma debuted on Broadway.
Wow.
And here's this massive hit for Rodgers and Hammerstein. And Lorenzo Hart's there at Sardi's and literally the little guy, the forgotten man.
Right.
And it's a fantastic movie. Bobby Carnival's in the movie as well.
I love Bobby Carnival. I love Bobby Carnival's one of the.
But there's no reason to see it in the theater. I mean, you
agreed. No, that's over with, John. The days of a theater being every 1 mile in Chicago are done. I mean, I grew up in my area alone. The Uptown Theater, the Riviera Theater, Granada. If I wanted to go the other way down on Broadway, talking Chicago for the folks out of town. Sorry about that, but I went back. 64. I could remember 65 daytime summer matinees at the Uptown Theater. I went to see Girl Happy with Elvis and Shelley Fabares. Took the bus myself and went down there and sat in the movie theater because I loved Elvis, and I loved Shelley Fabares, still do. So those were magic times. Those times are gone. And Netflix and all these people, and I do like them. I go to some of their movies. I see a lot of their comedy things. I saw the Eddie Murphy thing on Netflix. I saw John Candy on Amazon. I just watched Sebastian Maniscalco on Hulu. That's what I like those things for, the documentaries and the comic specials.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Old movie theater in Chicago, the Patio on Irving.
Oh, yeah.
And my distant cousins owned it.
Wow.
And my dad had his pizzeria at Irving and Austin, where Giordano's is now.
Sure.
And we would visit my dad, and then my aunt would take me to the Patio because she knew the owners were relatives.
Yeah.
and they'd let us in. And that's, as you remember, because I'm a little younger, but not much. But this is when people would walk in the middle of a movie, and it wasn't a big deal. They did it all the time.
And they'd wait for the second movie to play or something like that. The Portage Theater.
Sure.
There were just all sorts of great movies. State Lake, the Oriental, when you could say
of course, the Great Oriental, Fine Arts.
Yeah. I mean, just tremendous. Those days are gone. I mean, a lot of my mom tells me all the time, she's 96. She goes,
God bless her.
Things aren't what they used to be. I go, things aren't what they were last year. I go, I understand. My God. 1 minute you're going in for a place for coffee. They go, see you next week. And then the next week you come in and the place is flat. They're building a new joint. You never see them again. Yep. So it's funny that way. Things have changed. Corporate America has changed things more than any entity and anything that you want to talk about. Whether it be, see, Jack Warner wasn't corporate. Warner Brothers were brothers, although Jack Warner screwed his family. But
he did.
Big time. But corporate ownership, whether you're talking Las Vegas, whether you're talking media, whether you're talking movie theaters, whether anything you want to talk about, anything that they've decided that they want to get into has not become better. Period.
They've destroyed it. No, mom and pop businesses are stores. Amazon killed brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, it's over.
I
mean, so it's a whole different ball game now. I don't mind it because I don't go out that much anymore. I mean, I just think that you see. I mean, out here they build a Walmart where I live now, and everybody acts like Disneyland's opening. So I mean, it's a big thing now. So that they essentially. But I used to have a hot dog. My hot dog stands were I always took the overflow from McDonald's, but it still hurt me to see my food 10 times better. And they have a drive-through. We didn't have drive-throughs. We had 3 joints, and we built them all by McDonald's. I figured, hey, if they did the survey and they said this was a busy area, let's find a storefront because then we'll know, and then we'll serve different food. And we did fabulous. But it bothered when I saw 7 people in my place and 20 people in their place eating that garbage. Okay. I said, wow, we had homemade stuff and everything else. So you can't battle the conglomerates. You just can't. You got to just do the best you can and figure it out.
No, I'm with you, man. Absolutely. Yeah. How about, did you ever encounter George Hamilton?
No, I thought that I give him credit, though.
Oh, yeah.
I give the guy credit. I saw him play Hank Williams.
Yes.
I thought he did good. I mean, but who was the guy died when he was 26, Hank Williams.
Right, Hank Williams, yeah.
The shortest biography of all time, for Christ's sake. Godfather 3, I thought it was a mistake casting.
Sure. No, he's had more misses than hits. Absolutely.
Only because Duvall wasn't offered the job. That was Francis Ford Coppola can tell me how smart he is and how great he is, and he is. There's no doubt. He's an Italian. I'm Italian. Half Italian. I'm proud of the guy. But to not recast Robert Duvall at any expense was one of the dumbest things you could have ever done. Period. Yeah, and they try to redo it now, and I've watched it since I first saw it. But after 1 and 2, it was too hard to top. Big disappointment. Pacino looked like a football coach. He had his hair in a butch haircut, for Christ's sake. Yeah. He started talking like this, Yeah,
he was still stuck in Scent of a Woman mode.
Yeah.
How to play Michael. No, I agree with you.
But the thing that they did with The Godfather that was the smartest thing of all time is they did it, and then 2 years later they did the second one.
Oh, yeah.
They waited too long. Just like Chinatown. They waited too long to make the remake for Chinatown.
Jakes.
For 16 years. Do it 2 years later, you're set.
Well, I agree with you. Certainly Godfather 3 is nowhere near as great as the first 2.
But it's still good.
It's good. It's okay. It's all right.
And okay for Puzo and for Coppola and those guys. I don't know what Coppola thought he was going to do. I think he said, I got to go completely different here.
I think it's money, Mike. I think it was all money. They were chasing that money for years.
Everybody, look, I love the guy, and I think Godfather 2, they've been playing it so much lately. I got all the lines memorized. I know every line I know the lines to Casino. I think I just celebrated my 500th viewing of Casino. some parts of it, if you will. I don't watch the whole movie 500 times, but when you're flipping, you'll stop, you know.
What did you think of and now Alto Knights? It's
Loved
Barry
it.
Levinson and De Niro in playing the two different roles. Yeah, I liked it a lot too.
My buddy calls me, as Italian as it can get. Did you see that crap? I go, what do you mean? The Alto Knights. I go, what's that? And he goes, it's the movie with De Niro. Oh, I said, fuck, I'm going to see it. You know?
Yeah.
I saw it. First of all, pretty accurate. Okay. I love De Niro as Frank Costello. He was great as Gambino or whoever the hell he was.
I was trying to think of who the other mob boss was. Yeah.
I think it's and then no, Vito Genovese. Okay.
Oh, it's Vito Genovese. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
and
That
so-
makes sense. Yeah.
And then the guy that played the guy that got killed in the barbershop. I love that guy as an actor. Okay. And I thought the movie was great. I thought that Costello, the guy that played the Chin, was awesome. You know, I thought the whole thing, and then they described what happened in Upper New York perfectly. It went along with all the accomplished reports. De Niro was great. I thought he was good in it, man. He plays
And
two
of
roles.
course, when The Irishman came out on Netflix, I was a big fan of that as well. No? Oh, Mike, I love The Irishman.
No,
Why? Why? No.
No, you're not Italian. You can't be.
Hilarious. I love that. Because really, Pesci was incredible in that
I
movie.
love Pesci and everything. Number one, he
Yes.
can outact. He outacts De Niro in a couple movies. Don't get me started. I'm sorry,
Joey. Yeah, and Raging Bull.
Sorry,
He's doing the heavy lifting in Raging Bull. Jack, you got to do this, Jack.
a little less eating, a little more fucking. You know what I mean? So,
You fat bastard.
yeah, I thought. I'm sorry. I love Jimmy Hoffa. Jack Nicholson nailed him, and when
Oh, I agree with that.
yeah,
Sure.
that's the problem I had
But-
because Hoffa's a big part of that. And to
Well-
pick Al, just to get Al in, I'm sorry, they could have picked because Jack Nicholson in the movie Hoffa is Jimmy Hoffa.
I agree
He's
with that.
Jimmy goddamn Hoffa.
You're right.
And-
I agree.
yeah, and De Niro trying to play a younger guy. You could see the hair dye. You know what I mean?
That didn't
I
bother
just
me.
thought Scorsese said, "We got one last chance. We
Yeah.
got one last chance to do
Yeah,
one
man,
more."
they're all getting up there. You
Yeah,
know,
that's right.
true.
That's right. So I didn't like it as much, but I thought Alto Knights was fantastic.
Oh, when they're in jail and Pesci is dipping the Italian bread in the wine. I mean, you and I know a million old men that that's
yeah.
what they did, man.
Yeah,
you know.
and I've done that myself, and I'll tell you what, back in the day, and I just think that Joe Pesci is very understated. You don't know nothing about him. You don't know if he goes to bed with a different girl each night, but he could, even at his advanced age. I think he comes and pops up in certain areas. I think as far as being a well-rounded actor, I mean, Home Alone. All you have to do is see Home Alone and see Joe Pesci do a Three Stooges type of comedy.
That's
okay.
true.
And he's so good at it. And so I think he had good range. De Niro's got great range. I think the best movie De Niro might have ever made is Midnight Run. In my
It's up
opinion.
there. It's up
My
there.
God. I mean, Charles Grodin, what happened to read about when he came in to read with them. And Charles Grodin was the only guy that made him laugh. And that's how they picked him, because they had a ton of guys and they couldn't make him laugh. And when he made them laugh, and then they got along great, which made for a great buddy movie.
Well, and Grodin, another vastly underrated
Oh,
character.
I just
Heartbreak
watched what's the name of that movie with Warren Beatty? I Heaven Can Wait. I just watched
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tremendous.
He's in the He's
Diane Cannon's like assistant or whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, he's supposed to be the rich guy's assistant, and he doesn't know that it's now Warren Beatty instead of the rich guy.
It's so
working.
good.
Oh,
And
yeah.
James,
Well, again,
I'm such a sicko now. I read on these guys. James Mason. Have you ever read about him?
Yes. Hello, Joe. Yes.
One of the weirdest guys ever. Doesn't talk to nobody. Walks around very sullen. Was a very depressed guy all the time. I mean, I read about this guy, and then I see him on the screen, and he's tremendous. Just absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah. One of the
No,
few
I'm
English
a-
actors. One of the few English actors I like. I mean,
well,
really.
back to him and Newman in The Verdict as the two lawyers. Come on,
Oh, tremendous. And
come on.
yeah, I mean, he
And of
is
course, North by Northwest. Hello, Mr.
Lolita.
Kaplan.
North by Northwest, Lolita. I mean, he's in
Hello,
a lot
Lolita.
of and,
I'm
and
looking
I
at Sue. I'm looking at Sue Lyon in a bikini right now, and Shelley Winters wants me to try her cherry pie.
well,
Hello.
he did that one movie later on with James Coburn and Richard Benjamin. They're on a yacht. Raquel Welch
I don't
and
know.
and Tyrone. Yeah, take a look and see if you can find. It was about a scandalous affair that ended up on a boat, a yacht, and Raquel Welch was my girl. So I mean,
Come
you
on.
know, oh my God,
I'm always interested in these British movies
Yeah.
that Lord Lou Grade made, and they're from the late 70s and early 80s before these guys died. And
Mhm.
they're all like, there's, this is David Niven and Roger Moore when he's not playing James Bond.
Roger Moore,
And, or like the sequel to Guns of Navarone, Force 10 from Navarone. No. I agree, Mike. They're not great movies, but it's interesting watching these guys when they're old men. The Wild Geese, where they're all old guys getting together for a war operation.
Right. I just watched the Roger Moore doc, and that he got Maverick is a miracle. Okay, because
Well, you know what happened?
they had trouble. First of all, they didn't like the writing after season 3 or 4. Garner got tired of filming the whole thing every.
Well, he was getting shit money. That's the problem.
And
That's
they
why
were
he
throwing
left.
him around. He was doing a lot of his own stunts back then. And I watched the first and second episodes now, and the third seasons. The writing is impeccable. Then they brought him in, Jack Kelly, who me and B didn't like at the beginning when we started watching Maverick. Great, grew on us.
Absolutely, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
great. The two of them were great together, and you can find Jack Kelly in other movie in other parts, and
Forbidden
he's a very
Planet.
accomplished actor,
Yeah.
right? Very accomplished. But
Yeah.
then he says, "Well, they paid me enough. I wanted to." He was a playboy, Roger Moore, back then. He had there's a documentary on him, folks. If you could find it, check it out. Roger Moore, just tremendous.
Well, as I understood it,
Mhm.
he had been under contract for Warner's, and he wanted out, so he agreed to do those 9 or 10 episodes of the 4th season of Maverick. He gets out, and then he goes to London and he starts doing The Saint, and he
That was
owned
it.
part of The Saint. Roger
And
Moore.
before that, before any of this, he did a serial of Ivanhoe.
Yes,
With Flash Gordon on Sunday mornings. Commander Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe. Flash Gordon. All of a sudden, one Sunday, Ivanhoe. And I'm looking, and it's Ivanhoe, and it's him. It's Roger Moore. I go, shit.
Yeah.
So he earned his stripes, no doubt about it. Then he was, I thought, the second best Bond ever.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I got, of course, Sean, number 1.
Of course.
And of course, Roger Moore, number 2. What's funny is BB, women back, if you listen to the 60s scripts on James Bond, it's awesome. Oh, but if you're a woman and you're watching it,
And that's so awesome.
so
Well,
she's
even-
watching it, and she goes, yeah, it's okay. I go, Goldfinger's okay.
Yeah,
But
I
I get it.
I mean, basically, it's Thunderball, I think, where he's in the health spa, and he basically takes the woman and kind of rapes her in this.
Yes,
room.
not
Mr.
kind of.
Bond, no, Mr.
Yeah, not
whatever.
kind of.
Yes,
Yeah. She's not. But then something remarkable happened. She saw The Untouchables, and she goes, "This guy's one of the best actors I've ever seen." That's what we were talking about before, about scripts and about different genres of doing. And I agree. Sean Connery in The Untouchables was a knockout. He knocked that role out.
I know you're not a sci-fi guy, but have you ever seen Connery's movie Outland?
No, and I know you're not maybe a war guy or a prison guy, but have you ever seen?
I'm a war guy. I'm not a prison guy.
Have you ever seen Sean Connery's movie when he's an inmate in a military prison in Britain?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And he's got to run up a hill. They torture him by making him run up hills. You can maybe look it up. I don't remember the name of it, but
is it Don, do you think we're talking about The Last of
Oh,
Sheila? Is that it?
The Last of Sheila is the movie that Raquel Welch was in with James
Oh.
Coburn in them.
Oh,
That
okay.
was, it's a crap movie, but Raquel's in it. You know, Diane Cannon's in it. James Coburn, who to me was every bit as good as Steve McQueen. I get in this argument all the time. I go, Steve McQueen couldn't act. Steve McQueen was cool. What was cool about him? You know, I mean,
James
I like Coburn is in like Flint was cooler than anything Steve McQueen ever did. Sorry, you know.
Well, I mentioning those guys.
Yeah,
I've been watching a lot of British TV from the '60s, and Donald Sutherland before Clute and before Kelly's Heroes is in a lot.
And the Great Train Robbery, too.
Yep. Now,
Donald Sutherland never got nominated for an Oscar, I believe. If that's,
I think you're right.
Two guys that were overlooked in my lifetime. Well, not the one guy made the movie before my lifetime. Errol Flynn, who I thought made 2-3 really good movies. I thought Wayne deserved more than one a nomination, making all the movies he made. Should have won more Oscars. He got some nominations. But Donald Sutherland, tremendous actor, and overlooked. He was great in The Great Train Robbery with Sean Connery. They were great together. He was great even in the little stuff like Animal House, you know?
Oh, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
No question.
And his Deep Throat.
Yep. Mentioning James Coburn, my high school
buddy,
Jim True Frost played with Coburn, Nolte, and himself. It was called Affliction.
Affliction is a very hard movie for me to watch.
He's the grandson in that movie, my buddy Jim.
Well, you tell him that movie's tremendous. James Coburn finally got what he did. He was so good in that, but the movie is so dark. And if you were ever abused as a kid by your parents, you won't want you could watch this and say, yeah, this guy might have had it worse off than me. You know what I mean? Because Nick Nolte was great. You know, Nick Nolte had stones. He did movies like, I mean, to do Prince of Tides, you know, as Nick Nolte, to play the opposite role in Cape Fear. When he could have played the Robert Mitchum role, he played the Gregory and sold it. Okay, that's how great an actor I think Nick Nolte is. I love him in almost everything that he does.
You know,
he's let himself go, John. I didn't want to tell you that, but Nick Nolte, he's let himself. You know, and 48 Hours, he's tremendous in with Eddie. I mean, they're tremendous.
No, I was going to say, I'm talking about movies with tough subjects. Connery came back to do Diamonds Are Forever if they let him make that movie The Offense, which is about child murder and molestation.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, well, nobody did. And then really United Artists basically made it as all right, well, you know, you're coming back, you're saving Bond. And he's like, I want $2 million put in the Bank of Scotland because they're hurting and they need the finances. And you're going to let me make this movie. And they're like, all right. And, you know, it was a little low budget movie, but it's this intense police drama.
Yeah, it was cool that at Diamonds Are Forever, they got to age him. He didn't come through with the black toupee. He had the grayish toupee. He knew he was getting older. And then you see Cary Grant, who originally they say turned it down. Turned down James Bond. And maybe that was the right thing to do. But I watched him. One of my favorite movies of him is playing James Bond in Charade with Audrey Hepburn. Yeah, I think he's James Bond, and he shows you what he could have done maybe at a younger age had he done it once or twice.
I love that. I always imitate him at that gunfight moment. Reggie, I beg you, I'm telling you the truth. You know,
I love him in North by Northwest. He's the guy. I've grown to like him, but he wasn't in my type of guy growing up. He wasn't. You know, he wasn't my type of guy. But everybody, but the women love him. I mean, you know, you can't argue. You get in an argument about Cary Grant, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. If my wife, me and B talk about him, she loved him.
But he could, you know, the only thing he couldn't do is tough guy, but funny in comedies, funny in romance movies, and that auction scene in North by Northwest when he's trying to avoid the killers. That's one of the funniest movies.
Let me give you my synopsis of Cary Grant.
Go ahead.
Smooth, no doubt.
Yeah.
Good-looking guy. No
Yeah.
mark. Clean.
No marks, clean.
Always looks impeccably dressed. Even his father Goose. I've looked
Well,
worse.
they
I know.
dirty him up, and it's
They
still
do.
Cary Grant. You can't
Cary
even
Grant.
through the mud.
Beagles, it's Cary Grant as a sailor. Let's
that's
laugh.
right, it was
You
the
know
Hill.
what I'm saying?
All right,
So-
Don corrected me. It's The Hill with Connery. Thank you.
That's it. That's the one. The hill that he has to go up. The guy's fantastic. It showed all his athletic prowess. He was a big soccer player back in the day. Cary Grant. Cary Grant to me, when he did the movie with Tony Curtis, the submarine movie
Yeah, Operation Petticoat.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was.
When he did other movies, get rid of the English accent. You want to be considered an actor to me? Get rid of the English accent. You can't be a captain in a submarine, an American sub.
Well,
How you doing? No, you can't be Cary Grant in every movie. And that's what his failure was to me. That he was Cary Grant, and that was not a failure to him. And I don't blame him. He had the recipe down. There was nobody that could stay with him outside of being graceful, maybe Astaire, and Astaire was a different genre.
yeah.
But John, he had the English accent, and we've seen Australian actors like Russell Crowe and other people come here. Yeah, and they come in and they do the American accent. So that's what I've always had against them.
Well, I respect that. To me, and you're right, and he obviously was born in England. It came off to me the way Katharine Hepburn's did in that what they call the Mid-Atlantic, rather. Rather.
Well, she sounds like she's from England, and she grew up in Connecticut or something. You
Right.
know? So, she never really changed either. But tremendous actress. There's, I'm a big Barbara Stanwyck fan. I used to like Betty Davis. Now I think Barbara Stanwyck's better. The more you watch these people and you try to drink them in of what they did. Betty Davis did dark movies. I'll stab you in the back when you're not looking movies. Sure. All About Eve is great, but Barbara Stanwyck, I think, had more range, and she was more pleasant, to be honest with you.
Well, we just did Martha Ivers on our show.
Okay.
And she's so great in that movie.
Yes, she is. She is. She's so good at what she does. Barbara Stanwyck's fantastic. Christmas in Connecticut is great. Sydney Greenstreet's in it. And if there's a dance scene there that you'll love, they're just laughing. They hide their laughter as they're doing it. It's sort of like one of those waltzes at the end of the movie, and it's fantastic. So Barbara Stanwyck and Double Indemnity, and she's just so good in all those stuff.
I'm with you. The another movie where they break character and start laughing. I love in White Christmas when Danny King and Bing Crosby are imitating Rosemary Clooney and Vera Ellen's act, and Kay starts swatting Bing Crosby with the feather boa, and Crosby absolutely loses it, and that's real. And I just love that
got one like that at Christmas in Connecticut. Sydney Greenstreet almost runs over this woman, and they start laughing. And by the way, he's another John Cassell type, Sydney Greenstreet. Holy Christ, I love that guy. We love him. And the first 3 movies he made were all huge. Casablanca was it. He was in that.
Maltese Falcon.
The Maltese Falcon, Christmas in Connecticut. The guy he made like 10 movies, 10, 12 movies, and then died. So, he had lupus and all this shit. He didn't look like a very healthy guy. So,
big, heavy set guy. That's why
big, heavy, but he had it down, and then, that's how he laughs. He always had to laugh.
I like to talk to a man who likes to talk. Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, there you go, Mike. I wanted to bullshit about movies with you for an hour.
Yeah. If we start talking boxing, it'd be another hour.
We don't have to talk about boxing.
No, well, it's gone. Jake Paul almost won it.
Horrible.
Did you enjoy Jake Paul getting his ass kicked by Josh?
I did. Mike, I also think, all right, we'll talk a minute about boxing because it's all right. I think it was almost by design where he's a smart marketer, Jake Paul, and he knows
Joshua.
Yeah, well, he's enough of a marketer that he knows he's got his fans, but he also has people that wanted to see Mike Tyson destroy him. So he was willing to take a beating at the hands of Anthony Joshua because he knew that a lot of us were happy to watch him get the hell kicked out of him.
And everybody now knows, whether you like him or not, who Anthony Joshua is. And Anthony Joshua, that punch, that had bad intentions, folks. bad. And if Tyson wanted to and didn't want, I lost respect for Mike. I'm sorry. I wouldn't tell him that to his face. You can't fix a fight. Come on.
I kind of think it was more performance than actual sport. Yeah.
Because he killed Jake Paul. I don't care how old he is now. Mike Tyson would kill Jake Paul. Trust me. Marciano, before the plane crash, would have killed Jake Paul. Trust me. Lennox Lewis with his beard looking like Grady would have killed Jake Paul. Trust me.
Well, again, I know of real accounts where Jack Dempsey in his late 70s stopped 2 muggers. And Billy Conn in his 70s stopped a robbery from happening.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
They never lose their punch. Never lose their punch.
There's no doubt Tyson would have killed if he wanted to Jake Paul.
He held back.
If you're on the street, Jake Paul lasts 30 seconds because then you can throw everything in.
But he got what he wanted, even through he's going to be eating Christmas dinner through a straw, busting his jaw the way it did.
Got his ass kicked. It was great.
But he has 2 highlight punches that now moving forward, and I think he will continue to fight, that they will put on his highlight reel of him throwing overhand rights and clocking a former heavyweight champion that's still close enough to his prime that it looks good. It's 1 punch, but that's all you need for a promo. That's all you need.
Right. I'm not saying I would. To me, you're right. It's entertainment. The boxing game we've always talked, I need somebody to run it. I don't care. Yeah. When the boys ran it in the 40s and 50s, it was a well-run sport, period.
Our friend Butch used to say the same thing. The mob ran boxing better than
you know what? Everything the mob ran. Vegas, okay, the fights, everything the mob has done well. And then other people take it over and they screw it up.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. That's it.
Vegas, absolutely. You know, my favorite story about the mob is, the jukebox business. And you know the story about Carol Lawrence, the singer, was some mobster's daughter. And they would have guys, because for people who don't know, pop songs, jukebox plays were as important as radio.
Oh, they were huge. Just like this. Bigger than this. You better have a jukebox in every bar you go into because the people would walk right back out. Period.
Right, and they would hire guys to go into restaurants and bars and literally with a roll of quarters and play Carol Lawrence records to keep her popular, and they kind of helped her career.
Yeah, I don't understand. You see the boys now; they're fixing poker games. First of all, I just want to say on behalf of my heritage, it's great to have the 5 families back. Everybody told us they were gone in the 80s, 90s, what have you. All of a sudden, there's basketball players fixing games and being influenced by the Gambino family.
What the hell? What the hell?
So why did they take that boxing? They had X-ray. They were bringing in their players that make millions and throwing them to the wolves. I mean, it's awesome.
It's ridiculous.
America, God bless. All right, Johnny.
All right, Michael. Well done. That's what I looked for. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Al. And I love you. And it was great. It's always great to see you. We'll have to get together after all these. Jesse Rogers, Jeff Schwartz, the 4 horsemen of the apart, Jerry Riles. Of course, I remember Jerry and everybody else that was with us on the Basta Pasta shows, which are guys. If they ever reran them, they do very, very well. I don't know. I'm too late. I haven't gotten them converted. I got lazy. I'm a little lazy. I'm thinking. Me and B are thinking of writing a book.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. How we did it. And seriously, how we did it. Yeah, because you do it because you have unconditional love, but there's a lot of things you gotta overlook and stuff like that. I mean, we were out a lot, you and me and everybody. We partied. I mean, that was it. And
let me promote your odds show that you do, and this isn't the title of it, everybody. But
it's the Odds Couple. It's on. We're doing a taping tomorrow for the Christmas holiday, so I'm happy about that. And then it's on Saturday mornings at 7:00 on ESPN radio, AM 1000. I do also Somebody Big Just Died. We had some people. It was cold for a while. It was, but unfortunately, Rob Reiner took care of that. We have the Rob Reiner, somebody big just died. Yeah, we could talk all day about that.
Did Anthony Geary from General Hospital make the cut or no?
Honorable mention.
All right, fair. All right,
And so did
fair.
Mike White, the Illinois football coach who led us to the Rose Bowl.
Sure.
What happens is you got to stay big. And, a lot of these people fall, unless you were a legend, like when Connie Francis died, there was no way she wasn't getting it. Or when Rickles dies. But they're legendary. You knew who these people are. Anthony Geary, ISB. That's how I go. Oh, who's Anthony Geary? She goes, I don't know. I go, remember Luke and Laura? Oh, yeah. But that's all they did, so they didn't make it. But Rob Reiner, shame, but what are you going to do? That's a weird situation. We talk for another hour about that. Forget about it.
Yeah, I'd rather not, honestly. It's
Me too.
Let's
leave on a good note and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Granny.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ryan.
How many takes? I think she holds her fist in that one, too. I mean, her wrist. All right, John.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Everybody, more
All
great
right.
stuff this holiday week here on Word Balloon. Make sure you join us.